Hey guys, the Chief Ash here again for another OctoberQuest review. Today I am going to talk about my all-time favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I'm trying to knock them all out this month. I'm running out of time, but here we go. So my favorite is Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Now, so check it out. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. It's the last of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and it's only number 3 out of 8. But it is the last of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies that retained any, I don't want to say any originality, but there's it has the and I'm talking about of the numbers. A New Nightmare is kind of its own entity, and it has, quite a bit to it. But Nightmare on Elm Street 3 works as a sequel better than all of the other movies. Your big towering movies in quality in that series are number 1 and 3, period. And it's a lot of sequel sickness usually ensues in a lot of these, and 3 is kind of a weird number to come back on. It's more modern. It's kind of been a thing, but when you look at these 80s slashers and horror movies and things like that, your number 3s, 4s, 5, and 6 are all terrible. Number 3 for Nightmare on Elm Street, in my opinion, is the best. But it's definitely debatable, but it is a solid movie. It works very well as a sequel. You see Nancy Thompson from the star, the main character of the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie, comes back in this. It works best continuity wise. It has her. It has her father, both of the same actors. You see in number 4 when we try to bring back Patricia Arquette, it doesn't happen. I talked about it in the review. In this, they get Heather Langenkamp to come back and play Nancy Thompson, and she kind of does what she does. In this, we actually have Patricia Arquette playing the Kristen role, as I was pointing out in the 4th one. I did these in a reverse order for some ungodly reason. But we see in the 4th one, it's, somebody else. In this one, we actually have the Patricia Arquette character, one of her early movies, young Patricia Arquette, acting opposite our leading lady from the first Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And I mean, it's kind of sad because Patricia Arquette really out-acts her. It's just the thing. The Nancy is just, she's got her own kind of thing. It works for the Nancy role, but that's all it works really for, and that's all her career really topped out at. Sad to say. I'm a fan of her because of Nancy, so sad to say. That's it. By the way, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 right there. Yeah. Anyway, so the idea is these are the last of the kids whose parents burned Freddy. And throughout the sequels, that retained. These are the last ones. The sequels, he's trying to kill him. He's using people to kind of hop to kill new people, and that is something that the continuity was never ruined on in these movies, even all the way through 6. The original Nightmare on Elm Street kids end here, so that's a big plus for me. And it's awesome because Nancy Thompson comes in and she lets them know what's going on it works best for that exposition, that the continuity in that. So she goes through all of this. In the second movie, she's not there. It's a sequel that it's not. The second movie isn't terrible compared to some of the later sequels, but it's not as good as the first movie, obviously. And it doesn't have anything really related other than the fact that they're the Nightmare on Elm Street, they're the Elm Street kids, right? In the third one, you bring Nancy Thompson back, and they're like, "Oh my God, who's this guy trying to kill us and whatever in our dreams?" And then Nancy just shows up, and she hears about this group psychosis thing, gets an internship in there, and she wants to help people, and she walks into these kids that are sleep deprived and have these dreams, and it has the reoccurring Freddy figure, and she's just like, "Okay, well here it is." And it totally makes sense. There's no hole in that why she wouldn't know that, because she's the main character from the original. It's exciting for me to see that, because I've seen a lot of things like that come in a lot less successful, and the Nancy character, is a huge part of this entire movie, and it follows through really well, and it's almost a flaw. No, I'm not even gonna say almost. It is a flawless transition from 1 to 3. No, if Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was number 2, those would probably be some of the most known sequels ever. But since we had a down one in the middle, it's not as big. But your people that have watched all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I found on a whole, find Nightmare on Elm Street 3 to be in their top 2 or 3 Nightmare on Elm Street movies. It is very awesome. So another thing, so in this they also kind of include this like a magic-esque thing to it. The first 2 were mainly like it's the dreams or what have you. And this one, Kristen, and once again I brought this up in the fourth movie review. Kristen has the power to bring people into her dreams, and it's just explained that she was able to bring her father into her dreams when she was little, and she doesn't know how it works. But she pulls Nancy in once, and it fits in the world. It never explains why she has it, but at the same time, they're always trying to explain why Freddy has the his powers, but eventually they're just like, it's Freddy Krueger, he has them. And so essentially the Kristen character just is able to do that, but it works in this world where, a man can return from hell and kill people from in their dreams. So it works really well. I can see that as being a small flaw in the movie, maybe even can be considered a big flaw, but the way they handle it works really well. Another really cool aspect of it that I really didn't notice until rewatching it is that Kristen can actually send them out of their dreams, which is in the fourth one when she passes it on to Alice. Like I said before, she can't do that. I don't think in the entire movie she ever brings that she can. So it's kind of neat that Kristen is rooted stronger, but she originally is the one that had it. So it's kind of neat that that's an aspect of it, even though in the fourth movie Kristen isn't able to do that. But in the third one she can snap them out of it. And there's one part in the movie where she's like, "Oh, well, Kristen, like, just wake up, just get us out." And she's like, "Oh, they sedated me. I can't wake up." And they're like, "Oh, fuck." And that's cool. That's it's such a solid story point. But anyway, this is by far one of my more favorite movies. Like, besides I'm a huge continuity fan. Besides that, there's a really cool aspect of this. It's called Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. And it's the Dream Warriors because not only so she can bring people into her dreams. Well, also their main thing is they're like, well, it's my fucking dream. I can do whatever I want. So, and I don't know why this really didn't carry on so much. And there was and I've talked about it in the movie, the fifth review, the Nightmare on Elm Street 5 review, where the guy that turns into the comic book hero. He's the only one that really does that in like these following movies. Like, there's little aspects of it, but in this movie, they're like, it's my dream. I can do whatever I want. So they turn into like superheroes and dudes with like superpowers and stuff to fight Freddy, and that totally makes sense in the idea of the world. And the effects really work for the most part. The practical effects throughout the movie. The only thing that doesn't work is they try to reanimate Freddy's skeleton, and that's outdated as hell. But beyond that, storytelling in the movie is awesome. Practical effects still hold up. The plot line works really well. Awesome continuity between this and the first movie. Great acting on the kids' parts. Probably out of all the movies, best teenage child actors in the entirety of the thing, or like the entire series. So this is something you must watch if you like Nightmare on Elm Street. If you've ever seen any of them and enjoyed them even a little bit, this is the one you need to watch. I would often also suggest watching the first one, not the remake. The first one. Number 1, 1984, I think. The original Nightmare on Elm Street. I would check that out. But if you only watch one, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Anyway, yes. Also, Lawrence Fishburne's a background character in this, which is really entertaining to me. Anyway, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. This has been the Chief Ash for another OctoberQuest review, and keep watching.